learning how to write. I was learning the craft.
Well, shit, a lot of these stories would make really good, books.
I actually started with poetry as a kid because I like the rhyming stuff, so I used to write poems and stuff as a kid.
Where I cut my teeth and learned a lot was from reading a bunch of the screenwriting books and then writing a bunch of crappy screenplays.
Ever since I can remember writing, started writing stories.
I think writing becomes like a drug. Like once you start, it's really hard to actually stop yourself.
Instead of going out with your friends, you're inside chasing the dragon of having breakthroughs with stories and characters and finding those perfect lines.
Use the rhythm of the story to, control how the audience sees the story.
And if you just read the words on the page, you're not engaging in it.
You can tell more of a story with a facial expression than you can from a huge word balloon taking up half the panel.
Sometimes as a writer, you wonder what the hell you're doing.
If you ever think that, am I just making, in a Kantian sense, am I just making this up? Am I really alive? Am I really experiencing? Am I just an illusion?
The problem with fiction is reality.
You do not want your reader to feel let down.
I can do this. I think I can do this, but I want to do this.
Like when you give somebody a piece of poetry, and it can be someone who hates poetry, and then they read it, and you see that light hit, and you go, oh, I did it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Writing Prose. I am your host, as always, Shae. I've got my super awesome panel here, so we'll go around and say hey from everyone. First off is Death Metal Hero. How you doing, Luke?
I'm hanging in there. I've got
fantastic.
A small jar of moonshine that I shall consume post-haste.
The tedious jar of moonshine that is ever moonshined. Oh my gosh.
That was delicious.
Oh, like my stomach.
120 proof. Did it taste any like anything but liquid fire?
Actually, it's called Blue Flame, so yeah. That's basically what it was. 128 proof. Right
so
down
according to the Bunsen burner, that's about what 600.
Jeez. All right. So we're gonna keep an eye on Luke for the rest of the stream. Will, how are you doing?
Early. Talking to me?
Yeah, I was talking to Will.
Oh yeah, that's my name.
That is you.
I'm okay. It's a hot day. I'm here. I'm happy. I'm gonna try not to get booted because I want to be nice to Shae tonight.
Oh, that's sweet of you. How hot is it there?
I don't know. It's hot.
Just hot. Okay. It was
just hot.
Like, that's why
it's black tank top height.
Yeah, that's why I'm wearing my domestic violence on my shoulders.
So not too hot. Otherwise, that's white tank top kind of hot because black tank top obviously is attracting the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm in my corner in the cave, so nothing gets over here.
Nice. All right, and then we got Fusebox Ben. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
The way that you say it and then laugh after.
The chuckle doesn't add a lot of confidence. So
no, I'm doing all right. Bah. It's like, oh, he's killing somebody right now actively,
or plotting something.
Be nice to Ben.
Be nice. Hey, look, I don't want to be an accessory, so whatever you do, just keep it quiet.
You be nice to Ben.
Everyone be nice to Ben. All right, and then we have Frankie. How are you doing, sir?
It's the first time I'm not late.
I know. I'm impressed that you were actually early. It's pretty epic. And then, of course, we got Mr. Buddy Lord. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm not drunk, so the night has
great.
Yeah, gotcha. Man, this night has a lot to be desired, but we're getting there. But I did, pick up some F. Paul Wilson. So.
Oh, fancy. All right. Sorry, we're just easing into the stream tonight. There's been a lot of crap going on Twitter, and we aren't going to talk about a damn bit of it. We are going to chill, and we are going to talk about growth. And I'm not going to lie. This was a last-minute decision topic because I've been reading Harleen, and damn it, I wanted to gush over classic Harley storytelling, not the bullshit that they're doing now. So before I say anything, how do you guys feel? So let's start with the narcissistic one. How do you guys feel that you have grown as writers from when you first started to where you are now? And what do you think has helped you grow?
Who's the narcissistic one?
Yeah.
We're talking about ourselves, all of us.
Okay, I thought because you're always directing it at me, so I'm like, okay, right, there you go. I'm the narcissistic one.
No, this was for everybody. I'm not. See, Will's trying to be nice to me. I'm trying to be nice to Will today.
Hell freeze over.
No, I'm trying a pear cider and it has me a lot more chill than
it's not
normal.
cider, it's cider.
Cider.
No, it's Swedish, so.
Well, who goes first? Why don't you go around the room?
Oh gosh, why are you? See, I try to be nice to you. You just try to micromanage everyone.
I want to hear. So I'm interested in Luke first.
No, I'm gonna just to piss you off. Hey, Frankie, how do you feel you've grown as a writer?
Luke, Frankie was second.
He's growing vertically. No,
I'm jumping everywhere. But you can guess who the last person to speak is going to be.
Well, when I started writing, I was about 4 feet tall, and now I'm 6 feet tall. So I've grown 2 feet.
That's
like I said, vertically.
It's good.
Like you said, vertically.
Vertically. Do you have any events that have made you feel like you've grown as a writer, or you just kind of?
Well, yeah, I'm always constantly trying to improve my writing to match up Vinny's artwork, because you can't have cool artwork and poor writing. Just isn't going to fly. So I mean, that's one motivator for me to write better. And yeah, I'm sticking with that.
All right, Ben, how about you?
I think I'm getting better at writing outside of my comfort zone, if that makes any sense. Like,
where's your comfort zone?
Just specific types of characters and stories. Like when I was younger, I was mostly just writing like little comedy screenplays, little short things. And I think I'm getting better at trying out like different genres and different ideas, if that isn't too
Yeah, I get you. Luke.
Going back and reading old material, and I'm talking about like old stuff that I have not seen in probably a decade.
Mm-hmm.
It made me realize how far I had come writing wise. I guess I didn't realize it. You know, I felt like I had gotten better because I felt more proficient at it. But going back and reading some of my older writing put it into perspective how much I had grown as a writer. So something, I guess, an event that made me stop and take notice rather than an event that made me a better writer, if that makes sense.
Okay. Buddy.
I think you only get better at writing by writing. I mean, you do, but you only get better at writing whatever you're writing at that moment.
Yeah.
Because writing is so different with whatever project that you're doing at the time. I mean, if I'm writing poetry, then maybe I'll go study some Byron, some Blake, you know, even some Thoreau. You know, kind of read about, like, figure out structure, figure out why these people wanted to do things. Understand, you know, some of my favorite poems are like almost like a malaise, like Jonathan Keats, but everybody likes Bright Star because it's kind of romantic and, you know, he loved his girl and everything. I kind of like, I mean, Ode to a Grecian Urn was good. Fairy Tale was good. I don't know. Like I said, the biggest thing that you could do if you want to improve writing, or you want to, like, the growth that I've had is from just reading until I was bursting at the seams, and then writing until I felt like I had something. Because a lot of times, I think the biggest thing that it's like any other craft, the most important thing that you can figure out is when you've got it, when you've reached that point. You're like, yeah, this is it, you know, because it's just like anything else. It's like art, right? After a while, like, you're like, okay, I could keep modifying this chapter, or I can abandon it because it's good enough.
Right,
but how do you know that?
Where to stop.
Yeah, but how do you know that, right? And I think that's one of the growth that I've had is like, okay, this is good enough. This is time to be abandoned. I can move on now.
Right. Awesome. Will.
Shae. I'd say a milestone came probably when I went to or got to university. I'm not a particularly competent person, but what I am good at is observing and mimicking and assimilating what people, what makes a person tick and what they want to hear and what they want to see, which is very
But that's
powerful
exactly
skill.
what a writer should do.
Yeah, which is a powerful skill in the wrong hands, but unfortunately, I'm not evil. But people at the university are. So while I was there, I learned how to write for an audience. So I said, okay, what does this broad of the schmuck want to hear? And I would listen to their lectures and figure out what their fetishes are and what they talk about and what they yak about. And then I would mimic them in my writing, and I could have any idiot thinking I was a communist or a feminist.
I was about to say, so you wrote a lot of feminist fantasy.
Oh yeah, I could make you think I am Andrea Dworkin, reincarnated. And I got
queen.
I actually got compliments that I like that I must see. The guy asked if I was a Marxist, and I'm like, good, I tricked you, and you gave me an A, and I'm not. I actually despise you very much.
Right.
And that made me very happy, and that kind of taught me how to write for an audience. What do you guys want to hear? What do you want to see?
I don't know how that sounds. I can write for people who hate me. Just so you know, I might hate you.
Yeah, but that kind of turns me on to write for people who hate me. I like that. I'm sorry, guys, but I get off when everybody in the room wants to kill me.
Hey, brother. I know we were talking about semen art behind the scenes, but come on now.
Yeah, but like when I was in class,
gonna...
all the women would be frothing at me because I'm saying something like men are physically stronger than women, and they're just, losing it. I would be like, ooh, I'd be like, power levels rising.
Oh my gosh.
And I'd be smiling I am.
Somebody needs to do a meme of Will, like, power levels rising with him, like his arms and his eyes like light up red, and he's like,
right. It was like one of those Capcom power bars, like Hadouken.
Okay, hold on. I need you to do the power levels rise. Hold on, wait. Let me take this off. Let me take that off. Do the power levels rising again.
Power levels rising. Hadouken.
And now, I need someone to meme the fuck out of that, please.
I gotta say, like,
energy beams.
It was a skill that I learned because I can't do this. I can't pass without lying to these idiots.
No, I totally understand where you're coming from, because when I was in college, like, in order to please my teachers, I kind of, when I'd write papers or essays, I would try to make it seem like I was sort of progressive or progressive, as they put it. And yeah, it's a skill you can develop where it's easy to appease your enemies.
And women professors eat that shit up. Like when you're
I just
when you're
went
really
out with my
pouring it on
teachers.
thick.
I just went out with them. We would go to like jazz clubs and stuff. And
Yeah, that's the 400 level.
That is also
the
an
grunt
option.
level.
See, my favorite was being in a 200 level class and having a teacher that obviously has a very strong political leaning one way that is not anywhere near where I am, and writing so fucking good that he had to give me an A.
I got that in my last paper.
Exactly
I told you
against
that.
it.
Where he told me I hate everything in your paper, but you get an A- or a B+, whatever he gave me.
I had an appreciation to music class where I had to write this one paper, and the teacher didn't like me, so he wanted to give me a B. But we like basically a woman that he liked who played jazz saxophone in the town. I got her to like me. And then when he went to see her, I was like, yeah, I had this paper. And it was a da-da-da-da-da. She's, oh, that sounds awesome. And I was like, doesn't it? Bastard gave me a C on it. And she's like, why? And his face went red. I said, can we renegotiate? She's like, yeah, can we?
Damn. All right.
Well, white power hour. What?
Huh? Look, okay, Chris likes to pop in and he likes to say things that are concerning and then pop out for a second. Chris is funny. Yeah.
Like, but who was talking about that?
drop a
I didn't
bomb.
get my Mein Kampf out.
But he's like Christopher
chime in.
Steve, so he's like crisscross.
Oh boy.
Because
He's crisscross.
I have the
Wiggity,
German
wiggity, whack.
translation, the approved one.
Oh gosh.
Oh boy.
Well, can we not talk about Nazis this stream?
How is this? You know what is funny? You know what I
Back to
hate?
growth.
One of the things. Well, okay, this is growth. like talking about the whole Mein Kampf, abnegation of consequence, Milgram's experiment, and then Karl Popper, right? Like all the like I don't know the new. You were talking about the progressive and feminist kind of inclusion, and being able to fake that. Isn't it amazing how wrong they get all the philosophy they talk about?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, especially the big one is Christianity. They're always wrong about it. When they deride it, they're always wrong.
It's like I need more liquor for this.
They've never read anything, and I've been in many situations where I hear these assholes get very, very, very nasty, and you could tell that they've never read a fucking word of it.
Oh yeah, I mean Christianity, and then like I said, like Karl Popper. There was like, we talked about it before. The intolerant of the intolerant, and I saw it again today, and I'm like, you guys are so stupid.
All they really talk about is Foucault, usually.
Yeah.
That's like
Hey,
their main
Frankie,
guy.
what were you gonna say about growth?
There you go.
Frankie, come on, talk about some growth over here.
Okay.
It better not be porn. That's all I'm saying.
Buddy, shut up.
I don't look at porn. Listen, I think for me anyway, or if someone's starting out, I think they should start writing from feelings first. I started with poetry as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then come up with ideas or things you want to convey later on. And then once you get a feel for writing, then write a genre that you like and that you know. And then to push yourself, start to write a genre you're not too comfortable with. Try to push yourself into a new room,
Yeah.
And that is one way to grow. But that's how I did it. That's my
Yeah,
personal-
I can definitely see that, especially if you try to force yourself to write a genre that you think has historically been very poorly done, so you've never been a fan of it.
Yeah.
It's a good way to show growth, because if you're not a fan of young adult because you feel like it's always really just superficial, they don't ever say anything entertaining. It's
Talking about the reader.
Right, exactly. So then
the intelligence.
So then find a way to write young adult that doesn't do that, and see if you can actually manage, because sometimes the things that you don't like in those genres are what make the genre that.
Yeah.
And other times it's lazy writing.
Okay.
And so it
I
can
would
kind
assume
of
it was lazy writing, but you might be right.
it can kind of give you a new perspective. Well, because here's the thing. So what's the difference between a young adult and a drama? A young adult talks down to the reader. A drama doesn't. But they both have the same things. They both have the same things that are going through it. And you can have a drama book that isn't considered young adult, but that deals with teenagers.
Right. But why bother then? Like why not just write young adult as a drama?
Because there's a lot of people. So you have a lot of readers who are lazy readers. I'm a lazy reader. I'm a very lazy reader.
Okay.
I'm going to be very honest. I've tried reading some of the existential shit that Buddy and Will talk about for hours on end, and I want to poke my eye out. I understand a lot of those concepts, and I can discuss them with people, but if you tell me to sit down and read a book that looks like it's going to kill a mouse and then discuss it with you, no, you give me Cliff Notes and then we'll have this conversation.
So Exodus is out of the question.
Yeah, no.
No, numbers will do you in. That'll do you in.
Oh yeah.
Is that the one with the genealogies?
It's the organizing of the tribes of Israel.
Oh my god!
You know what is a short book, a good read, but is much more fun on mushrooms? Is the Metaphysics by Aristotle.
Ooh. Oh, that's actually fun to read, but I don't know. I think that's another one that would make Shae want to stab herself in the head.
You ever read Aristotle, but on mushrooms?
Okay, so hold up. Let me perfect example. So the X was in a philosophy class. It was a graduate level philosophy class where basically he sat and they discussed existential things, for lack of a better term, with PhDs. That's what he did as a junior in college. He had a book that was written by Lonergan. It's just a big ass motherfucking horrible book. And I tried reading a couple pages of it and I was like, this is fucking stupid. I hate it. I hate everything about it. It's so dumb. And then he was like, okay, let's try this. And so he would give me a section of it and he'd be like, okay, so what is your thought on this? And I'd be like, well, this, and this. And he goes, you just debated half of Lonergan. And I was like, fuck off. That book is stupid. Why is it so big? I was like, I can debate it and talk like a fucking 16-year-old and still debate it. At some point, you're just being overly complicated. That's how I feel about Will and Buddy half the time. Overly complicated.
But if you don't understand the overcomplications, you can't deal with the undersimplifications.
Well, and so that's an interesting thing, is because I honestly think when it comes to a lot of that kind of stuff, I'm able to understand like the upper level stuff, but I can't use that same vocabulary to convey it back.
Right.
You know
Well,
what I
that
mean?
doesn't. Yeah, I mean that doesn't matter. It's just the understanding. It's the reasoning behind it is all you need to know.
Well, and so for that exact reason, talking about reasoning behind something to try and grasp a higher level of understanding on a topic, that's why young adult exists. Initially, it existed as a bridge between people that couldn't grasp regular novels and the stuff that they dealt with, but that weren't, C-spot run. So it's supposed to be the bridge in between, and it got progressively lazier and lazier and lazier until eventually it's like 2 steps up from C-spot run.
I'm going to disagree with that.
Go for it. Let's hear it.
I think YA is wish fulfillment and pretty much nothing but. I think that's the difference.
Certainly.
I think the problem is that, I mean, you can follow the track of economics and what we wanted in art, and as it degraded and it became, only spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
And only spectacle, we moved away from what you're talking about, like, because no one, most of the writers that are writing today do not understand what you're talking, like what you're saying, the kind of, oh, this is overly complicated, but you have to understand the overly complicated to break it down, to be able to know exactly what to put to get a specific response.
Well, that's true, but at the same time, don't you think that as a writer, if you can understand it, but you're writing to a group that doesn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only way to try and get them to eventually reach
You
out,
don't have to change your reason or difficulty. You have to change your language.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I felt it was. Granted, there is a fuck ton of wish fulfillment in young adult.
I mean, look at C.S. Lewis, man. Like C.S. Lewis is very complicated, but it's simple language.
Right. And that's why I love C.S. Lewis.
He conveys complex ideas with simple language, and it makes it easier to digest.
Or even Tolkien. We take Tolkien. I'd say he can be young adult. We all read it as little kids.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hardy Boys. Do you guys consider Hardy Boys young adult?
Hardy Boys is wish fulfillment, is what I consider it. But it is young adult.
Interesting. I suppose it could be considered self-insert. I mean, I never read it.
You would get into the psychology of it. This is what happens when you read any Hardy Boys. You read the first thing, it says you're looking for this. It gives you a title that makes you think there's a mystery. So automatically you come in, you think there's a mystery. Then you read about the characters and how they're awesome in whatever solving mystery. It sets up how they're going to be able to solve the mystery, because it has to set up that background, or else your disbelief is going to go too high and you're not going to be reading it anymore. So it sets that up and then it gets to it. So what does that do? Psychologically, that sets an expectation. Okay. Every time you set an expectation and it is met, you get a dopamine hit.
That's true.
Right.
Okay. So then you're like, oh, exciting. I figured it out. I got it. What do? You go for the next one, another one, another one, another one. Right. And when actually in readers, when we lose them, is when we set an expectation and you meet half or lower than that expectation, because half or lower and you flush somebody's body with cortisol. When somebody is hit with cortisol, that's the lonely drug. That's when you go into your low road parasympathetic region. Your blood goes to the extremities, and all of a sudden you feel heavy. And that's when you put a book down.
Fair.
I haven't, in fact, had that feeling while reading a book. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh no, that exact feeling I got in the Dark Tower series.
Gunslinger.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first book is a bit of a slog.
Oh no, I'm talking about the like fuck this, put the book down kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's because, like I said, you're running away from what is bothering you. You have that it's going to your fight or flight, and you're like, F this, or it just depresses you so much you just drop it and you just have to push yourself away. And that's what happens when you don't get the setup, because you're not meeting the expectation that's been created.
Yeah. I guess that's true. Interesting.
Sorry to drop social psychology on you guys.
Yeah, I see. Whenever we get Buddy in here, he's gonna psychoanalyze anything you say or do.
Well, that's clinical. That's just neurology. That's not really psychology.
Tomato.
You know what? I feel like Buddy is about to have to go have a timeout for a second.
Buddy,
new culprit tonight.
That's not very nice. I mean, I thought we had a thing going, Shae.
Buddy, you're making me look
jealousy
stupid.
rears its ugly head.
Oh, okay. I'll stop.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, so growth for me. Honestly, I think that growth in my writing has really just come from growing as a person. Like it's not specific to just writing. It's the stuff that I've ended up experiencing in life, how I've had to deal with things, roll with the punches. Obviously, joining the military, that was a big jump. And then when I finally sat down and was like, okay, I'm going to write again, I started writing and I started seeing a lot of what I had put out there and was like, it's rougher on the edges because it's been a while since I've written, but as far as the content and the quality, I think that it's actually a lot better than what it used to be. And it's just because I've experienced more. So I'm able to write more about kind of tap into those little moments of my life that are relevant to whatever I'm writing and put a little bit more of that emotion in there. And like Frankie said, you write from emotion when you very first start. I kind of feel like I don't know that I'm going to break past that. And I don't really know that I want to. Personally, like I'm not looking to be the next Will Perdomo that's doing Black Flag or anything. I'm not looking to be like stop it. I'm not looking to be like super famous author or anything like that. I'm really just looking to invoke specific emotions. Being an empath, that's something that I've always found interesting. That's something that I want other people to be able to experience. And I feel like I've met a lot of people who are incapable of expressing exactly how they're feeling in certain situations. And if I can give those people a voice, then I'm happy.
Well, I mean, I think like somebody who's an empathic is going to make one of the best writers in general. It was I know a lot of people are going to look down on it. She's kind of a feminist, I guess, but Brene Brown, she studies mercy.
She's really good though.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
So the thing is that being like in the military, we actually had.
She's really big. Yeah, she goes around and teaches like a lot of the leaders because of the suicide rate in the military and everything.
Well, and talking the difference, like she's probably one of the most concise ways of describing the difference between empathy and sympathy.
Yep.
Because
being in the moment with somebody, in the feeling of somebody.
And somebody did. I don't know if you saw it. Somebody animated it. So they animated it with little. It's like a bear and a fox and an antelope. The antelope was sympathetic. The whole like, hey, it sucks down there. Do you want a sandwich? Like to try and, hey, this deep dark hole you're in is real shit. Do you want me to give you a sandwich? Maybe that'll make you feel better. Whereas the bear actually crawled down in the hole and was like, this sucks down here. I totally get that it sucks down here, but I'm here with you and let's climb out of it together. And that's like a huge difference. That's something that a lot of people don't take the time to understand. And so that kind of power over words, it's a rare thing for a lot of people to have. And if I can try and hone that ability in myself, that's what I want to do.
And I was going to say that like she's got that whole the book or the book where she talks about being in the arena, which is really just being having that empathy and being in the moment with somebody,
right?
Whatever that moment is. If it's a miserable moment, like you said, then be miserable with them,
right?
I think only in doing that can you really write that kind of thing. Because if you're just there but you're not scared, do you feel that creepy crawly feeling that's just worming its way up your spine and making you shrug your shoulders? Do you feel that? No. Right. If you're there with a girl but you don't really care about her, did your palms get sweaty? Did your heart race? Did you think about all these stupid things that you wouldn't have thought of otherwise? No, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
So you've got to be in that moment, or be able to be in a moment that's not even yours. Because that's the best writing, isn't it? I mean, that's how we immerse. That's how we relate.
Well, and that's something that I think that a lot of writing that I've been picking up recently has been missing, because it's difficult to write and it's exhausting to write from an emotional place. So if you're trying to give somebody an emotional bit of feedback, where they read something and then they feel that same emotion that you're trying to describe or that the character is going through, it's really exhausting, because the best way for you to be able to do that well is to kind of go through it, at least in some aspect yourself. And the amount of times I've written stuff and I've been like, oh, I think that went really well. I need a nap. It was like, I need a nap and some chocolate, and I need to find a friend to give me a hug. And then maybe I could get back to writing.
I mean, but that's exactly what we were, like I was talking about, the neurological science. When you feel that, you go through it. Your body doesn't know any better. So your body kicks out that chemical cocktail just the same. So you're getting that, if you really feel lovey-dovey, you're getting that oxytocin, you're getting the dopamine, the serotonin, you're getting all the DHPM levels, you're getting everything. And you at the end of it, it's like, whoa, I've been on a wild ride, but I've been in a seat.
Yeah. And so, okay, this goes straight into one of the things that I wanted to talk about. So you guys all know the origin of classic Harley, not the bullshit feminist, whatever. I don't even know what they're saying anymore, because I don't pay attention.
I'm not really a fan of either, to be honest.
So the thing that I like about it, and this is, Ben, you let me know if this is still a hard no for you or not. The thing that I love about how they do Harley is Harleen Quinzel, okay, is an incredibly intellectual, logical, like head-on straight thinking person. She's also insanely empathetic and has a huge complex to try and save everyone she comes across, right? So she goes and she sees the most broken individual that she has ever experienced in her life, which is the Joker, and is a little cocky and thinking, I can get through to him. When no one else can, I'm going to be the one that gets through to him. I'm going to be the one that saves him. And so this is where her emotional kind of cockiness and her connection and desire to save everybody overrules that need of survival in her body. And it overrules all of her logic and her reasoning and all of her intellect, because she goes so deep and so hard to try and save the Joker. She ends up losing all of herself. And he's so fucked up. He ends up completely corrupting an otherwise incredibly intelligent woman to the point to where she reasons everything away.
I never really thought about it from that point of view. I always thought of it as more of like she was sort of a cautionary tale of like people who get way too invested in like relationships and stuff to the point where they're doing unhealthy things in order to keep it going.
Well, and that's the thing that I love is, so from my perspective, because I always told myself I could never be a psychiatrist or a psychologist because I feel too much for other people. So I wanted to go into neurology, because neurology, at least you feel like you have that barrier. It's a bullshit feeling, because you still have to get into psychology in order to understand neurology if you're going to do it successfully. But when I was looking at Harley is very like, Harleen is very intelligent. Harley is complete id. Like there's like nothing left.
Total id monkey. Absolutely.
She's gone from an incredibly intelligent person and had everything whittled away over time, because the Joker has a way of finding your biggest insecurity and capitalizing on it. And her biggest insecurity was the fact that she would never be able to save him. She would never be able to save anyone, and she would never find love. Because she is, if you look at the origin in Harleen, at one point she's 19 years old and has never had a boyfriend. And then she starts sleeping with her professor and gets caught and gets called a slut. And she goes through this whole big thing about how the only reason that, they said something about, they call her Harley because every middle-aged man going through a crisis has had a ride. It's literally a line in Harleen.
Mm-hmm.
That's the mentality of this girl. And so she goes for success in her profession because she can't find success in love. And Will, this is where you're probably going to jump in with the whole feminist women need to feel like women. Well, she's trying to subvert that by being successful just in her profession and fuck the social, right? And I'm done with you. And what ends up happening, right, is the second that somebody starts to show her that little bit of affection, she crumbles. And she starts to crave that affection.
Are we talking about you or Harley?
You!
I zoned out for a minute. I'm like, are we talking about Harley?
You are going to get booted so quick.
30 seconds. 23 seconds. Good job, Bubba.
Wow.
Penalty box.
You know what? Everyone else called.
I knew it. That's pretty.
I couldn't do it. I mean, I did zone out for a second. I'm like, wait a minute, is she talking about herself again? And I'm like, oh, oops, sorry.
Okay. Apparently, he hasn't learned his lesson. Oh my gosh!
Oh, okay.
Oh, that was so brutal.
Come on, you teed that one up. Like it was like me doing this. It's like I'm not gonna bob and weave. I'm just gonna walk right into your fist.
Oh my gosh!
To be fair, I get passionate and personal like that whenever I talk about Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, or whenever I talk about Jack Sparrow.
That's simp. Not Jack Sparrow, the other guy.
I've actually never played 7.
That's the only one I've ever played.
Never played 7.
I don't know. I think my girlfriend bought me 7 at the time, and then it disappeared for like 2 weeks.
We all did at the time.
She was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm playing the game."
This is prior to World of Warcraft.
Okay, so kind of getting back to the whole idea of growth. That's one of my favorite growth moments that I've seen in a character, and it's actually like a degrading instead of growing, but it's a way that they've developed the character, and I find it the most. They used to. I mean, not now. Now she's.
Well, no, I mean, is it or is it really just like a reveal of the true character beneath?
Ooh.
I mean, you could argue it either way. The way that I look at it is, it's somebody who shined a spotlight on a major flaw of the character, but because that spotlight was so intense and it was such a deep-seated flaw that she had inside of herself, it became consuming. It was something that she couldn't overcome. She couldn't find and fix because the person she chose to surround herself with, by lying to herself and saying that she was trying to save him, she surrounded herself with the Joker, the person who was absolutely there just to tear that down and to make her doubt everything that she's ever thought. Because anytime she would start to have a moment of clarity, he would knock her down several pegs, sometimes physically, like actually beating her ass, sometimes emotionally, sometimes withholding love, whatever he had to do. But he had her in such a way that he was able to do that.
So Harley Quinn is the quintessential modern woman.
Oh boy!
Sadly.
I mean, it's sick. Let me ask you this, because you're talking from a one-sided point of view here all the time with Harley,
right?
Because for someone like the Joker, who is not insane, he's completely aware of what's going on.
Yeah,
this person walks right into his lair and is trying to analyze him, so to speak. It's going to be like
he's in the asylum when she does.
Yeah, but it's going to be like Red to a Bull. It's going to be like fun. Ooh, this person's going to be empathetic. Well, I got the cage for you. And for someone like,
I think it's called shrinkage.
I think someone like Harley Quinn is going to be always looking for a man to how should I say, validate her otherness. And the Joker is the ultimate man to do that for her by abusing her.
Yeah, so she's constantly looking, and this is if you want to talk cautionary tale, Ben, this is one of the biggest reasons why you should never look for validation in other people. Like, personal validation should never come from an external source. This is exactly why. It's because the second you start looking for personal validation from an external source, that's when you hand all the power over to that person.
And I definitely see that.
You no longer have autonomy over yourself because you've relinquished it all. You've given it away to other people. And that's something that happens so much in today's society because everybody is looking for somebody else to tell them that they're beautiful, that they're smart, that they're intelligent. That's how we got.
That's literally Twitter.
Yes.
That's literally Twitter.
Or
every bit of social media.
Or I'd say in Harley's case, if she's had this trauma in college with these allegations of whatever she was doing, there might be some, if she did do it, it might be some guilt associated with that. And the last thing you want to do is face that guilt. So you're going to find a man who doesn't ask you to account for that guilt, who's going to be even worse than you are. You know what I mean? So the Joker is far worse, and he's going to validate your bad sides. You're not going to have to turn around and look at yourself and maybe repent for what you've done or be honest with yourself.
Isn't it just the kind of stereotype of like the woman trying to change the guy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But the thing is it's a stereotype for a reason because a lot of women honestly believe that I'm going to take this fucked up, broken, horrible human being who treats me like garbage, but I will be the narcissistic thing in the world. I will be the one that will fix it.
But do you know what I also
I'm
think,
good enough to do it.
Shae and Buddy, I think
that's the thing in the world.
I don't think women are trying to change the man necessarily. They're going in with that. I think what I just said holds. I think that there's something wrong with them. They're finding a man that sort of meets them on the same level they feel that they're at with their conscience. But then in their back of their brains, they know that there's something wrong with this guy. So they're subconsciously trying to change the dude to be a decent person. But they don't want to overtly admit that's what they're doing because that would have to admit there's something wrong with them.
Usually in these kind of cases, what you've got is somebody that has built a false self.
Exactly.
Mask.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
They have created, it's not quite multiple personality because multiple personality are not aware of what the other personality thinks until they're in charge. Okay. They just know they're there. But in this case, like what we all do this, you go to a job, you act differently, right? You put on a mask, you put on a front. Okay. All right. Well, a person who is, if she had a devastating trauma, and that's what they're trying to create. She had a devastating trauma, socially, psychologically, while she was in college or whatever. So she developed a different persona, a fastidious persona, someone that was completely caught up into their work, could help anybody, yada yada yada. Okay, what the Joker does, ever since probably the 80s, is cut through whatever social mask you have with a keen knife and split it wide open. Because he is just pure, like you said, he's pure id, pure reaction, pure truth. He is his truth in your face, doesn't care what you think.
Nope.
Okay.
And perfectly cognizant of everything that he's doing.
And he knows when you're being, when you're full of crap, basically. He knows Batman's full of crap. He's like, yeah, you're wrong. I know you think you want to do this, you want to do that, but you don't. He's like, and I think, and it is that even with Harley, like, and then the other thing is that like somebody who is giving all of themselves empathetically leaves nothing to defend. They leave, if you're giving all of yourself, right? Mm-hmm. You're squeezing all of yourself through whatever, orifice you're letting, then you're empty.
Yep.
So what's,
there's no more defense.
There's nothing. You're empty and you've given everything you have to the other person. Now you have no defense against whatever they say, whatever manipulation, whatever trapes, whatever they want to do, you're going to take because you're an empty, vapid, vacuous vessel.
Buddy, you're killing me.
No, that was a fucking.
But also,
really
Buddy, I think empathy is the wrong word we're talking about here because I don't know, because we're not talking about a third party in the form of morality here that we're trying to say you need to acquiesce to some moral standard, which what it sounds to me that these
Mhm.
people are doing, or someone like Harley Quinn is doing, is trying to get someone to bend to their will.
It is an emotional transferent communication, is what we
Well,
call
but
it.
when you're going will to will with someone like the Joker's
Mhm.
going to beat you. He's got a stronger will.
But not
You
if
know?
you think you're better than them. That's the whole
Right,
point.
that's what I mean. It's a will thing. I don't think it's an empathy thing.
Well, no, but when I'm saying empathy, it's like they're trying to be in the feeling, or they're trying to be in that moment with somebody. But a lot
they're
of
trying to get
people
off on
don't actually know what it is, what empathy is. So what they do instead is they say a whole bunch of BS to be in sympathy with somebody. When you're in sympathy with somebody, what you're actually doing, sympathy is just that, a sympathetic response. So when you have a sympathetic response, it's complimentary. I give you some of me, and I'm expecting some back. It's tit for tat,
We're
right?
talking about generosity now.
Yeah, so tit
Charity,
for tat. But like,
basically.
what if you don't give back, and I keep giving?
Right. You're trying to bend the person with the will, and they're going to
Exactly.
just suck it out of you because
And
they're going to win.
Joker, what the Joker does, and people like that are experts at narcissists, is they give you something that isn't real, but you think is. So you think you're getting something, and then at that moment when you believe you've reached them, they let you know that you haven't,
Mhm.
and
That's
they
right.
snap you.
Exactly. You thought you won.
Mhm.
And you get the nice little hit that you think you won. You bent the person to your will.
And
you
then
won
they
the
turn
game,
and they say,
then
by the way, snap.
And they crack you over their knee,
Like
and
a
they win.
sociopath.
Yes, like a sociopath.
Lordy.
And I'd say that Harley Quinn isn't any better if that's what she's trying to do. She's actually screwed up.
No, she is. She's absolutely screwed. But see, and this is when I'm talking about Harley, like she's a brilliant person. It doesn't mean she's not flawed. She's insanely flawed.
Brilliant doesn't have anything to do with morality. You know what I mean? You could be quite brilliant and be a wholly amoral person.
But what I think she's saying is that she was originally and is within her core of selves a good person. She just doesn't know how to be that anymore.
And when we say good, what do we mean though? Like, so this is the question that's been boggling my mind while you guys are having discussion back and forth. Like, if I'm going to go in, say Shae is Harley Quinn, and she's going into this situation trying to rescue the broken
Okay, I'm going to
Joker.
answer this for you. Social psychology.
Well, no, but let me
1986
finish the
paper.
sentence though. Like, what do you? Okay, you're saying when you fix, you imply that he's broken, right? Okay, what is healthy to Harley Quinn
Psychologically?
in general? Like, what would make the Joker, this wonderful man to her that she could walk down the aisle with?
That he would have likability.
That's it?
Yeah, the social likability is a combination of three things. It's loyalty, fairness, and kindness. That is literally a discernible metric, likability.
Yeah, but Dennis Rader aped all those things, and he tortured and murdered people.
You would have had those things in a different perspective.
But you understand what I'm saying, though, right? Like, is she's merely trying to craft some little puppet to carry
Well, I think
around
she
with
was
her?
at first. Yeah, I mean, what you're trying to do when you have a certain amount, when you're being, like I said, when you're giving a sympathetic response and you're expecting something back, is just what you said. She's looking for the dopamine hit of being able to solve the problem.
Is it just the drug effect we're talking about here? It's purely selfish.
Yes, yeah. In that case, what she's doing is, at first, she's not. What's the word? She's not benevolent.
There you go.
Right. At no point in time did I say that she was benevolent or that she was without
No,
fault.
it's just a
What
clarification I was asking for. That's all.
Right. No. So the thing that I'm trying to say is Harley she's narcissistic in thinking that she is the only one in the world that is going to be able to reach the Joker.
Okay.
That
So she's got
all
pride.
of these other
too.
people that have tried just aren't as good as she is, and she is good at what she does. She understands him on a level that other people haven't ever understood him before, not realizing the only reason that she understands anything about him is because it is a calculated effort on his part.
Yeah, it's tit for tat.
She
He
sees what
has
she's doing.
decided how much she is going to know, because whenever she thinks she has him figured out, he'll crash a car off a bridge with her stuck in it when she can't swim. He'll, punch her or stab her or shoot her or whatever. I'm sorry, Frankie.
You know what it is?
Tired.
That's a physical manifestation of the slang negging.
Yes, it is. It's
Totally.
negging to the nth degree.
Yep.
Because the Joker can. Because he knows that he can, and she's too weak-willed to leave. Because in her
Also, he
way down in her being, she's told herself, if I leave, then his soul is forever lost.
His soul,
the only one who could reach him is me.
Yeah, talk about hubris, man.
Oh
Damn.
yeah, no, it's horrible. It's terrible.
So it's again what I said in the beginning. She's trying to validate this insecurity she has about herself based on her experience in college, being told that she's maybe dumb or underperforming or a slut. And I'm going to do what no one else can do. I'm going to reach the Joker. So it's a competition with everybody else. It has nothing to do with morality. It has nothing to do with fixing him. It has to do with going where no one else has gone.
Fixing him is the part of it that proves that
that's a pretty big feat since he's a psychopath and a sociopath. Who the hell's
Right.
ever
So
fixed it?
imagine
no one ever fixed that.
Right. So imagine if she was the one to do it.
He's actually
Right.
not psycho.
That-
He's not a psychopath. He is
No.
sociopath.
He is a psychopath.
He knows
But
what he's doing.
Imagine if she would
A
be the one that
psychopath
would
means he
fix
has a
that.
break with reality. He knows exactly what he's doing. He just doesn't care.
Yeah, that's what makes him effective.
That's what makes it dangerous.
I thought a psychopath kills and a sociopath doesn't.
No. A sociopath is someone. I mean, there are certain characteristics of a sociopath. Mostly that they lack empathy. They lack like conscience. They lack faith. They usually don't believe in religion. They're very directive. Those kind of things. Psychopathic literally means you have a break in reality.
Yeah.
Like you
You're
think something is
disassociated, right?
true that is not.
Buddy.
Okay.
You ever see the show Dexter, Frankie?
Yeah.
Dexter would be a sociopath.
Well, he would also be a psychopath.
Sociopathic tendencies.
And I guess maybe Norman Bates would be a psychopath, right? Psycho. So-
Yeah, because he was seeing things that weren't there.
Yeah, he thinks his mother was alive in the basement.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And he's not doing it. It's his mother doing it.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Okay. So we talked
Everybody's
about
getting a psychology 101 lesson.
right?
It's interesting.
Yeah, I've already found my palate cleanser for the end of the discussion tonight. So.
And Buddy is making me look like an idiot.
But he makes us all look like idiots. It's fine. The thing is, I think what makes a good writer is understanding the psychological tendencies of humanity, of just basic human nature, because otherwise how can you manipulate things and warp people's perspectives and reality if you can't understand the basics?
Yeah, it's
of
behavior.
psychology.
You have to understand behavior.
Yeah.
Like the thing, that's why I hate to say this word, but SJWs, that's why they cannot write, because they do not people very well. They write people.
That's a
like
break with
machines.
That's a break
Well,
with reality.
Those guys, they don't have any empathy.
Exactly.
None whatsoever.
They're incapable of putting themselves in someone else's shoes and feeling what they're feeling.
I do think there is prevalency of sociopathic behavior in SJWs. Like,
Absolutely.
I legitimately believe that.
Absolutely.
Because
I don't even want to break this. I don't want to do that. I don't have the time to do that. Like, I don't know. They're literally some PhD on GadSad's. GadSad put out a tweet today that some PhD wants to a PhD of 40 years. She's like 60 years old. Wants to get rid of the word testicles because it's inherently toxic.
It's
inherently, intrinsically, naturally toxic to everyone.
God hasn't died from being obese yet.
They want to get rid of the word.
Wait, has she
Verbal castration.
I'm gonna say something horribly sexist right now. Has she not been laid in a while?
Probably.
I'm gonna go with it's been a minute since she's seen a pair.
Well, I
And
mean,
it's getting to her, so she feels
they're scaring her.
Right.
They exist. I don't know.
Wow.
Well, no, testicles don't exist. They're a construct.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. What is it? Is it because men have them and so they must be toxic? Is that I don't
Well, no,
fucking
it's because she wants it. She wants it.
No, it's because I'm sure like if you read into it, she's probably trans something or other, or male, blah blah blah.
Yeah, probably.
But the whole idea is that if you eliminate, it's sort of like dehumanizing, right? Like when people go to war and they found this out. You see like freaking France, the Arch, right? The Arc de Triomphe.
Yeah.
Right. Where did that come from? Okay. Well, it came from when Napoleon was traveling around and he saw that soldiers began to go crazy because of their guilt. But then he found that like a simple thing like was it the Greeks that I think the Greeks and other people, they would like sprinkle oil and they say, oh, you're resolved of your crimes or whatever. And so they created the Arc of Triumph. It's like, if you walk under this arch after you've committed war, you're free of all your sins. You're good.
Or he's just imitating the Severance and Caesar.
I need to verbally draw attention to this.
Manstone.
Timothy says we can call them manstones.
Yeah, but that is a little violent in its pronunciation.
Yeah,
like maybe someone
We'll call them manstones.
Get rid of
Chris
the
is
man
gonna
part.
do one for the team.
Send
Stones?
Coach,
No, that you can't. Can't do that either.
Co-opting stones. I don't care.
So I mean, what I was getting is like, if you so what does war do? What do we do in the future? Is that evolved? Instead of having them walk under an arch, we started dehumanizing the enemy, so it didn't matter if you killed them.
Yeah.
So what are the which is funny because they hate militant action, but that's exactly what the SJWs do. Oh, you're a Nazi. That way, it's okay to hate you.
Oh, they're walking contradictions. I mean, they claim to be against fascism, yet they're using fascism to.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's
the most hilarious part.
It's like the Ouroboros, right? Like they eat their own tail at some point.
Yeah.
Because they run out of things to be outraged about because they keep screeching at the general population that we're all everything is. Then we all just went, all right, whatever. Like, and so they were like, well, nobody will engage in my outrage. And they go, you know what?
I think we should put them all in Seattle.
Homosexual enough.
I think we should put them all in Seattle, fence it off, and hold games on who kills each other.
Didn't they try that? Isn't that what Chaz was?
It didn't last long enough. We couldn't ship them all there.
72 hours before they were like already murdering each other.
Talk about the
People shooting up and dying in the street. Yeah, it was a good old time for everybody.
I mean, we can all say we lived to see a rogue state form and fall, in a matter of about 2 weeks.
Did not take long.
Well, I mean, they didn't really have an idea how to grow food either, so I didn't have high hopes for them.
I'm sorry, you're talking about their like 4 foot
Garden?
4 foot farm.
The garden with cardboard.
Not even a garden. I refuse to count that as a garden.
You mean the potted plants they set on the lawn?
That was an herb pot that they put in the ground. That's what they fucking had, okay?
And it was racially segregated.
It wasn't even an urban garden. Like, come on. There's
So
no
what is a racially segregated garden? Like only blacks can eat okra? I mean, how does that work?
Uh-oh.
Wow. Oh, back to gross. Somebody else with the character.
Penalty box.
Who? Black or gross? When did you say that?
Okra that I didn't find gross.
Now we're getting to a discussion I wanted to talk about.
Okra?
Hold on. Are you ready?
Oh, no.
You guys talk about it backstage.
Oh, no. Oh, goodness.
Wow.
Power
Wait a minute. And then, like, why did I get booted? I was just jumping onto the conversation.
I was letting you guys discuss backstage, but you can't do because you can't actually talk backstage. Just proving a point.
I just kind of brought that up arbitrarily. Is there something I should know about?
Oh, no. It was
African Americans or
no. The main thing I know is that there was a sign in one of those pictures where they're like, "Oh, this for POC only," and all that, and I'm just like, really?
Piece of shit. Oh no, POC. Wait.
No, the censored version.
Wow.
I think people of color is more insulting than
I'm just gonna say how my dad said it. Colored guys. That's how my dad said it. Yeah. I have to do with his accent of colored guys.
Okay. We're moving away from the racial discussion because let's be real, it's not going to go anywhere good.
It never does. Why don't we just all kill each other and see who wins?
I mean, I win because I would just put you backstage and you can't reach me from there. You're too little.
I've got my animal protein and my thousands of rounds of ammunition.
Always have your knife ready, huh?
Shae, you're way too drunk on this power.
You're about to get booted. I know it.
So that coming.
That's the first time you've done that to me.
This is no fun anymore because everyone else is getting booted except me. And
Like, well, fuck, I'm just gonna behave now.
Not anymore for Will.
I'm
I
not
don't feel
unique anymore.
I don't feel special anymore.
And now it's time to say goodbye to all our family.
I mean, now I have to like step it up and say like really, really nasty shit, and like get booted.
Will gets the Golden Boot Award.
Exactly.
Will wants to get
Too many
banned
times.
from the channel.
Yeah, like where I never come back,
Golden
and you're like, oh,
Boot.
I thought that was a joke. No, that motherfucker's gone.
Be like, no, Will's done. We had a long discussion. We decided to part ways before I
pulled down the
I've
episode
got
where
a
I banned him
golden boot up his ass.
to make it legendary. Why it happened.
Oh my god.
No, I'm sure it will be legendary when it does.
I mean, I'll
Okay.
come up with something rude.
Why?
I've got faith in you.
Okay.
You're the only one.
Some other character growth. Anybody?
Pinocchio. I write.
about
I
to
make
say.
She's like begging now. Anybody, please.
Unfortunately, I have to get rolling real
Frankie.
quick. I'm sorry, y'all. I got to get going, but
All right.
Ben, have a good
Thanks
one.
for stopping by, Ben.
but I will be back next weekend until you stop inviting me.
Until I eventually just boot you out of the room. I was like, Ben can't come back anymore. Look, if Will keeps coming back every week, I think you're fine. When you stop seeing Will, maybe get concerned.
Okay.
Yeah, then the show's gone downhill when you stop seeing me.
And Will's muted. So have a wonderful night, Ben.
I'll talk to y'all soon.
All right, see you, buddy.
Oh.
Shut the fuck up so Frankie can talk.
I like to write for Pinocchio, so I make him lie a lot to show growth in the character.
Yes.
Isn't that corny?
Dramatic
What I-
realization or get the heck out of here.
My profanity for that. I spoke French just for that. So let's talk about growth.
I'm debating if I put Frankie backstage for the horrible pun.
Well, it would have flew nice if I got to speak the first time, but 20 people were talking.
I tried to mute everyone, and then Ben decided that he
You
had
had
to
to
have a long
be there kind of
goodbye.
moment. You had to be there kind of moment, and it passed.
So let's get
Like a
David
kidney
Cronenberg,
stone.
man, and talk growths.
Like specific characters?
Yes. What
Okay.
character has been your favorite?
Pinocchio! You know,
Jeff Goldblum from The Fly.
I know we've talked about the Dresden Files, but I've read each one of those books, and to see his progression through the books, like to see how Jim Butcher, will give him an upgrade, but then will scar him horribly with this thing, just and seeing how it changes the character, but yeah. So watching a character grow and change over the course of I think it's 14 books. It's been pretty cool. Seeing the world around him grow as well and change. Yeah.
Well, I think the Dresden Files, it was really cool to watch, from the beginning, where everything was really kind of, I don't know, it was kind of superficial, kind of childlike almost in the way that things were kind of going on around him, and then
Sure.
he started actually
Isn't this the book series that opened up when he walked into a hotel with an exploded woman and her heart on the end of her own rib cage?
No, I don't think so.
That does not sound familiar.
The Stormfront? Isn't that what?
Yeah, Stormfront. That.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Just leave a lasting impact then.
Literally walks into a hotel. There's an exploded woman.
Oh yeah. Holy shit! It's been a long time since I've read that one. But yes, somebody was using lightning to, explode people's hearts.
Oh.
From the inside.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
It's fucking magic.
Good fuck. It's been.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Like a childlike innocence, and I'm like, what?
Yes, you are in fact correct.
The thing is they didn't in the beginning they didn't super delve into a lot of this stuff, and then it started to get a lot more analytical. There was a lot more detective work that was done instead of it just being this shit happened because it happened.
He just had blood honey bread. He's like, here's blood honey bread. Mwahaha, you have to talk to me now. Talk to me, fairy. Talk to me. And the fairy's like, hey man, they were having sex over there.
Right?
Are we talking about cruising now? I tuned out for a minute.
Well, if you're not going to stay in the conversation, just go to bed, you old man.
It's not 9 o'clock yet.
Are you sure?
It's 8:17.
Do you want me to leave?
No, never want you to leave.
Just straight up say it, punk.
I don't want you to leave. I don't want you to sit back there for just a second. These ciders didn't make me.
That series was good.
Who was the guy who used to pleasure himself to lightning? Was it Shelley? Percy Shelley, where you tie the kite to his stuff? Never mind.
What?
What?
Really? To boot me for Pinocchio, and that shit got through?
I could see Franklin doing that.
Yeah, I think it was Shelley, though. I literally think it was Shelley who used lightning to pleasure himself.
Okay. Oh, all right. I was thinking of
Or maybe Benjamin Franklin.
Shelley.
Like, no, for Shelley, like Percy Shelley, her boyfriend.
Okay.
Left turn.
So, yeah, well, that's what you get for booting me out. I come right back in.
What else are you going to do back then? There's not a whole lot for entertainment.
You put me behind the dumpster, and I'm going to come up with weird stuff behind the dumpster.
Okay.
Yes, so
I'm
character
waiting
growth.
for it.
So, do you think books have progressed or regressed
Which
as
books?
far as just books in general, like content, fictional content, anything from the say like I don't know, 1930s, 40s to now? Has that progressed or regressed?
Regressed.
I would say both. I think there's a divide. I think you have a few good writers that progress the medium forward, and I think you have a whole slew of mediocre and shitty writers that just kind of have regressed. Like they've gotten lazy because they're products of that YA bullshit. They read that, they think, oh well, this is good writing because I'm enjoying it and it's popular and it sells. So they grow up and they write books that are equally as stilted and shitty. But you have people that grew up reading stuff that's actually thought provoking. Like shit behind me, and you grow up reading that stuff. You grow up thinking that's good literature, so you want to emulate that rather than the stilted YA garbage. So I think there's a stark divide between how people grew up.
I almost wonder if a lot of the YA has produced writers that go, oh, well, if this is something that is published that you can purchase at a bookstore, I could do this. As opposed to before, you would read something and it would be, wow, that was really impactful. That was really interesting.
Well, I can tell you the internet did that. Because
absolutely.
Harry Potter produced, I think, 4 different books. From Harry Potter, you got Rick Riordan said, oh, I can do that. You got Mortal Instruments. From Mortal Instruments came Twilight. From Twilight came 50 Shades of Grey.
Well, so if you're gonna look at what the internet's impact has been as far as on creativity and growth, look at movies, look at music, look at
Well, I mean, look at
look at writers, because all of these people have YouTubes and TikToks and all this other bullshit, and they're like, well, somebody else did this, and I can absolutely do the same thing, and then that has been what has been predominantly put out there because that's what is the easiest to digest. It's the most.
Do you think we've lost some nuance in the heroes of the former generation were based at least in reality for the most part, because you had they had military heroes and Western heroes were their biggest, that was their biggest wish fulfillment.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Ours are iconic superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
Did we lose something in that translation?
I think that the superheroes having to constantly try and always have some sort of a social agenda that they're pushing forward, that is what made us lose it. The way
Will disagrees.
No, I'm sorry, guys. I think if you let me say what I'm going to say is that I think we're in kind of a terminal phase in the cycle we're in that all empires get into, where there's a massive homogeneity of thought and there's more toadyism than there is merit going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I think most writing and things that are meant for a educated audience, let's call them that with a quote marks.
Well, you said toadyism, so this was almost like a worship, like a religion, more than an progressive of education.
You have to pander to a certain group that's in power that control all the methods of distribution, right? And these people are going to mandate that you write in a certain way, that you make it understood to a certain group of people, that have certain concepts built into it. And
so you think this is almost a diluted, impoverished nepotism?
Yeah, it's just what ends up happening. I think that's what happens in these late stages of what we're in right now, right? Is that we have a war on merit. What merit is a bad thing because it's thinking outside the box.
So we're like
And
Ptolemy creating the last scrolls when we should be protecting the old ones.
Correct. Exactly. And that's what's happening at the moment. I think that it's not a matter of people are stupid writing these things necessarily. Is that you won't eat if you're creative.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
I think it goes back to what Isaac Asimov said. There's a cult of idiocy in the country. You know,
Didn't he create a religion just to make money?
No, that was L. Ron Hubbard, man.
Okay.
Asimov, your science.
I forgot to add something to Shae, what she said about the superhero thing. Is that I think the superhero thing to me is again a terminal point of the Nietzschean thing, right? That we're trying to. It's sort of a projection of human beings.
It was about being beaten up, but overcoming that and coming.
Not even that. It's that you can transcend values.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You can move physics. It can't move you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what Shae just said, when you have these superheroes that are being loaded with the social justice nonsense, it's people actually thinking.
It's the opposite of that and turning that into a hero.
Well, not just that they can actually move things with these agendas, right? They can fix human nature, they can fix the environment, they can fix economics, they can fix tribalism. Everything can be fixed, and I think that's what
by governing human behavior, which is immutable,
right? But that they can change it by virtue of being Superman.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean,
and that's what I've told other people is that's why they want to do that, because to them, being a politician is a superhero.
Yep. Yep. Perfect example. Because look at how they propagandize someone like Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, right? They've made comic books where she's a superhero.
Jesus Christ, that
right?
lady's so stupid.
But look at her though. But they think that this woman, just because she thinks it, she can make it so, like a Superman can. He's got beams that shoot out of his eyes. He can cut through anything. He can move a giant. He can move a giant island of kryptonite. You know. You see them all have comics made out of them. All of them. Even Barack Obama had one made of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are the Superman. We can do it. No, you can't.
And I guess what I'm getting at there is like the growth of understanding what heroes are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has declined. I think that like that's the, you know, one of the, like I said before, like one of the biggest things that I lost was I couldn't share it with my dad anymore. I wasn't able to share like that sort of heroism with my father anymore. He just won't watch any of those things. He doesn't even watch his old military or Westerns because it's hard to believe in those and live in the generation that we're in. You know what I mean? Because he's like, where are the heroes? You know, where is that greatest generation? My dad's like, he's like 67, 68.
So he's Vietnam.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was, you know, and you just think of that and it's like, man, that does have to be tough, you know, because it's like every generation before us, they did have the heroes step up. Yeah. They did come from politics or whatever. They were good men raised in bad times. And now we haven't really had truly bad times. So we've had bad leaders or whatever, or mediocre leaders. There's nobody to stand up. So it's like, who do they really have to look up to?
Yeah.
Well, and also again, and I keep saying this and it's going to make me sound like kind of pessimistic, but I think it is a terminal end. Whereas usually mythology is a dead end, right? It's a dead end from something you're trying to reach further upwards. So we had our superheroes like Captain America that were highest American virtues.
So we're Icarus.
And well, then ever since then, we've been saying, okay, since we stopped looking to the heavens for our transcendent qualities, and we become ever more material. Yeah, we've been ever more materialistic. Our superheroes are now becoming much more materialistic and basic in that way. And dead end.
When you down our myths to be like us, wonderful.
Right. Well, that's
exactly.
What
that's exactly what it is. That's what postmodernism is. It's removing the spectrum, the poles, the polarity, and bringing it in. That's what postmodernism is. Is you're like, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in end. I don't believe in the beginning. I believe in me.
Right.
That's why, like, all of that 1920 French philosophy, because that's what it all is, what it all ends up being is that person. It's a very selfish philosophy.
Yeah, it sounds remarkably self-centered.
Well, why do you think that movies that are drenched in postmodernism always become whatever that movie was, stripped down to its basic elements, pushed through the vital lens of that particular person?
Jesus, no.
I mean, I look at The
Like-
Matrix in a whole different way when I found out the Wachowskis were both trans.
Yeah.
Those two movies take on a whole different.
Oh yeah,
perspective now.
exactly. Removing of gender or any of those conformity, you could be anything you want. The code could be indifferent. You know, what is it when you're analogous? When you're digital, means you
It's
can
all
be
a
anything.
construct.
Exactly.
You know,
Or,
so
you know, they kind of lifted that concept from Grant Morrison's The Invisibles, right?
Yeah.
Like it was an organic Matrix in The Invisibles, but they did it with technology.
Well, they were going to do it differently, but
well, they're
the,
doing it with
studio
technology.
didn't.
How do you become a woman when you're a man? You do it with technology.
Not what I was talking about, but
No, but think about it though. Like if they have technology and they can swap genders and everything in the Matrix and do different things,
right?
They're using technology as an intermediary to do it.
Well, what it also means is that you are nothing but a series of code. You are like what you are, your very spirit. That's all that you are. That residual self-image is just who you want to be. It's not who you really are.
And you can use your magic technology to change it all around.
I think Shae is not happy with this conversation.
Shae, control your show, will you?
And gone. Yep.
I mean, if he's gonna ask me to control it when they're having a discussion that I'm not into,
well, moderate, woman.
What would you like me to moderate? The two of you were having a discussion. I don't care to weigh in, so I was
I'm
letting you two
curious
talk
of your
out.
thoughts. I value your thoughts.
I stopped listening halfway through your guys' discussion, so I don't have any.
Black money for your thoughts. It's got no copper in it. There could be no silver, and it returns black.
So I think when it comes to a lot of this, like I'm actually agreeing with a good amount of the chat where, like Chris says here, with our technology, we're all now gods, and look what we've done with it. I think that
Lots of porn and cat videos.
I think that there was a lot of opportunity that we had when technology was first coming around, and people did what they normally do, which is get lazy. So people have gotten lazy. Everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame. Nobody's going for any real kind of growth, and something that Luke and I have talked quite a bit about. Growth is difficult. Growth is painful. It's not fun.
Growing is hard.
It's very, very hard. And
made a show about it.
What?
This show, it was about growth.
Growing pains.
Yes.
This show is painful, yes.
Fuck Winnie.
This show is very painful. No, the point that I'm trying to get is because growth is something that is difficult. It's something that a lot of people don't do. A lot of people won't grow in their writing because it means that it is a hard thing that you have to be honest with yourself. And most of us have a very difficult time being genuinely honest with what we think and feel and how we actually are.
Yeah, well, you have to recognize you can get better.
And you have to recognize that you are not perfect. You have to recognize that you have faults, and they may be numerous. And you have to be able to do that without getting into a self-deprecating state, because nothing good comes of that. You can't grow when all you're doing is talking about how much you suck. You grow when you realize this is something that I'm not great at. This is a place where I have a blind spot or a pitfall or something within my development, my personality, my writing abilities, whatever it may be. And then you actively have to work on that to make it better. It's all incredibly difficult to do. And I think that as a society and with technology, it's gotten so much easier for you to not invest.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much easier for you to go for instant gratification. It's so much easier for you to go for that quick thing that's going to become a viral video. Yeah, exactly. This is what'll make me viral. This is what's going to make me answer. This is, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And that's what people put their energy towards chasing as opposed to actual growth, as opposed to anything that is actually going to make you a better person in the long run. And no, Jason, I'm not talking about actual blind spots like you and your one bad eye. But thank you for that. But yeah, we've all gotten lazy with storytelling. We've all gotten lazy with introspection, and everybody basically has just been told that they're just such fucking amazing, special little snowflakes for so long that they all now believe it because it's easier.
Well, that's the problem with over validation.
Yes.
Right. That's why if I had children, I would be the mean mom that would remind them that no, I don't give a fuck what they said. You didn't actually win that baseball game. You lost by 20 points, and here's why, and here's how you could get better. And if I made all the other parents hate me, then that's what I do. I don't care. Because I don't feel like constantly validating somebody is making them better in any right.
And that whole getting a participation trophy thing, what is the incentive to get better if you are told that you're already, you're already good enough? Like,
well, and that happens in everything.
Yeah.
I have a job that rewards me for doing a good job by giving me other people's work who do a shitty job. And people who don't do their job. I get to go do my job and then go do their job because I did my job so well. We all make the same amount of money. They don't get docked pay. I just get double the work. So what is my incentive to do better?
In the fourth grade.
This is why socialism.
What'd you say, Frankie?
I said in the fourth grade, I got an award, an attendance trophy for bowling. Doing garbage. I threw it in the garbage.
Good for you.
In the fourth grade, I'm like, this is bullshit, and I just trashed it. Are you kidding me? I suck. I know I suck.
Well, that was like I was in a scholarship competition when I was younger. That's a beauty pageant, if you don't know. And while I was competing, like I ended up going up. And I won second place for the dress that I wore. And I remember crying. And my mom was like, why are you crying? You won. And I said, Mom, you handmade my dress. You won second place. I won nothing. And I was like, and I couldn't even get your handmade dress to win first place. I could only get it to win second. I was like, so not only did I not win anything, I wasn't good enough to get you to win first place. That was my mentality as a kid because I was like, second place is first loser. Like that's not. I didn't win anything. I almost won. That's what the trophy said to me is you almost won, and then it was for your dress, so you didn't win shit. Your mom did.
That's probably how I would have thought of it.
Right. And my mom was so mad because she was like, no, because if it weren't for you, then this wouldn't have happened. And I was like, if it weren't for you, this wouldn't have happened because I would have gotten up there in something from Target or Walmart.
You made me feel blessed, Shae, because when I was in second grade, my teacher in front of me told my mother that I was retarded and in those words, and that I should be in the special ed classes.
What the fuck?
And that she can't do anything with me.
She said this in front of you?
Yep, to my mother.
Brutal.
Yeah, I had teachers like that.
She straight up said it. I think he's retarded a little bit, and he should be in a special ed class, and I can't do anything for him. So that helped me a lot.
Because you mouthed off to her?
No, I was kind of sitting there, like, thinking about Star Wars.
Totally understandable.
Wow.
Yeah, and she was right. That's why I don't know, kind of retarded now.
Nah. I'm not buying that. That teacher.
But that came in handy, Frankie. That came in handy because you assume you're the dumbest person in the room every time you walk into a room, and you can't just sit back on your heels and say, I'm such a smart boy. No, every class I'm in, I'm always like, I'm the dumbest one here, and I got to work 10 times harder than any of these idiots. And it turns out I'm actually smarter than most of them usually, but I've overdone the work and I've driven myself crazy.
I think it depends on the kid. Because I had a situation like that, and I got caught bringing a hammer to school to take care of my teacher. That's a true story.
To take care of your teacher? What does this mean?
Are you sure you're not Italian?
What do you think it means?
Keep your mouth shut.
To knock on the door.
You know what it means, buddy? It means don't ask what it means. That's what it means.
Exactly it.
Hey, I don't know. Maybe he got a bad door.
Stop saving your wife right now. Hush.
Now you know.
Now you know you don't mess with Frankie, eh?
We're gonna get Uncle Vito.
My father
I'm
went
telling
in.
you
My
what,
father
you
went in. My father went in the next day. I wasn't here to witness it, and I should have. It would have helped me. But he went into the office with the principal and that teacher, and he spoke for like an hour to her, talking about child psychology and how you're supposed to treat all kids in the classroom, and not to bring your personal problems into the classroom and take it out on children. And boy, the principal and the teacher were red-faced. My father put them in their corner and made them look like this. I just wish I was there to witness it.
An Italian spoke for only an hour only? Come on.
Yeah, but Will, he talked with his hands.
Yeah, I mean, like the Romans, they do everything 3 times.
Hey, Frankie, did they fuck up your family's name at Ellis Island? Or is it still intact?
No. They didn't. My friend, they did. They changed it, but yeah, I don't know. They kept mine the same. My name's actually on the wall. What was it, 1991 or 92? You were allowed to put your family name on the. I guess they etch it on like bronze on the wall. So yeah, my family name's on there on my mother's side.
That's cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah. You really can't mess up the name Canoni. It's canon with the E on the end, so.
No, an Irishman could fuck it up. Trust me.
Yeah.
Only if you'd been drinking.
Like cannoli. I'm just gonna call you K.
Cannon.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, they fuck up my name and it's phonetic.
And from the corner. Oh my god.
Can I speak to William? Can I speak to William Pardama? Pardama? Did you like spell my name like differently?
Oh, they butcher my last name. Holy shit. It's 2 L's in it, so living in South Florida, the 2 L's make a different sound. Tartamella, Tartamella, Tartamula,
Tartamula,
Tarantella, Tarantula.
Okay, I get.
Are you related to that Tarantino guy? I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys know each other, right?
Yeah.
So I called when I was in England. I placed an order at a Chinese restaurant, and I told them, I told them to put it under my actual name, and they fucked it up so gloriously that it was amazing. So I know that my first name is difficult, right? So my first name's Shalice. For whatever reason, over the phone, nobody can understand this at all. And when people try to remember, I get called Chanel, Shaniqua, Shanene. I get told I knew it was a black girl name.
I was gonna say something just now, but I didn't know if I could.
Yeah.
It sounds like a good bottom bitch name. It's like, this is my girl, Shae Leash. She's rolling my shit.
Not Shae-Lease, that's Chalice. It's Chalice with a French accent.
Like, you're the one who goes and beats up all the other girls and says, this is the house of Perdomo. It is the house of Dolomite.
Oh, honey, I would never be your bottom bitch. That ain't a thing. Anyway, so I call and I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to try my first name. It's never going to work. So I was like, I'll go with my last name. My last name is simple. Apparently not, because when I went to pick up my meal, they were like, we don't have anything else back here, but we have something for a chung. And I was like,
yeah, that.
I was like, well, is it this, this? And she went, yeah. And I was like, hi, I'm Shalice Chung. Can I get my food?
And they look at you all cockeyed, like, are you trying to steal
I
somebody
handed
else's?
my card, and she's like, that's not what it says in your card. And I go, that's not what I said on the phone. And she just went, okay, you just take the food then. I was like, okay, thank you.
You're both embarrassed. Goodbye.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know how you got Chung, but not a Chung at all.
Wow.
She was like 4 feet tall too. So I'm like standing in there just like massive. She's like this tiny little woman. She was like, I just have Chung. And I was like, sure, that's me. I just really want my food.
Growing experience.
Timothy goes, they were like, she's not Asian. Yeah, no, there's nothing about me that is Asian. Oh my gosh. You know what, guys? I gotta be honest. I don't really know how you take this topic.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird one. It came out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh, gross. I don't know.
Well, I didn't see anyone else in the chat throwing anything else out there, so
Plus,
it
you got like
became
pissed drunk prior, so it's gonna be kind of hard.
You started out okay.
Started out okay, it just went way downhill after that.
Yeah. Yes, it started out really good, actually.
Oh gosh.
This
He's
was
like,
good.
I need more.
Now it's getting dark and ominous in my room.
Oh, it's getting to Will's bedtime. You couldn't tell.
Yeah, because the sun's going down. Here you go.
I could
It's
start
his
fire
bedtime.
with shit.
See,
No, I turn up my screen brightness in there.
I know. And when you did, you squinted. You're like,
I like darkness. I don't ever have lights on. I'm a creature that's not afraid of dark like you.
He's a real vampire over there.
I am. I like darkness.
I am the night.
No,
You merely adopted the darkness. I was born in
exactly.
No, but you
Subtitles, please.
Huh? What? Sounds like a fucking drive-through.
oh, Squish! You look, Will. You got a fan.
Oh, it's is that Plagle?
It looks like some sort of fish puppet.
What up, Squid?
No, that's Dan Plagle. Hello, Plague. I think it is.
Yes, that's Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
if one of you, either Frege or you, Shae, you got to go do like a cribs at his joint.
Why?
Because he's got like the shit in his garage, man. It's amazing. Have you ever seen him on Dan's live stream?
No.
No.
Oh man, Dan Plagle's got the garage to end all garages.
I don't even know who we're talking
yeah,
about.
apparently we need to have a conversation.
This is part of the Frege crew, the OG Frege crew. He's the first guy I think Frege met when he moved to do comics. So he's very much OG, Black Flag Frege crew.
Okay, keep saying it and rubbing that I'm not. I got you.
But I'm
I
not kidding. The guy's got some cool shit in his garage. You know what I mean?
Why
I
you?
don't know. I've been
dead
to
naming me, Will.
Huh?
He says, "Why you dead naming me, Will?"
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I misgender him? I didn't know he was recently transitioning from human to puppet.
Oh,
So he
like
identifies
I
as
said,
a fish puppet now?
Before Extreme Studios era, like Dan had just gotten here when he was playing basketball for food.
how is it the stream just goes totally downhill and we get more viewers? Who stopped streaming?
Because I start talking to your viewers.
Basketball for food?
Yeah, he played
You know
basketball
what?
for food.
I'm
What kind
too.
of growth?
I'm
What kind
too
of
done.
growth? What kind of growth?
That was growth, man. He needed to grow. He needed
He
calories.
needed to eat, so
We'll say this: we're all real good at stretching.
at what?
At stretching.
Yeah.
We'll make this tangentially about the topic. What was the topic again?
I mean, what I'm curious is when second day and he was the first person to see Sniper. And Shae's too drunk to notice.
Next
What
week,
is-
the
Fuck
topic
you!
will
I'm
be-
not even a little drunk, you asshole.
Next week, the top will be topics.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know what
see,
Sniper
and now
is.
I'm filling your sick, weird fantasy. Gross.
No, I just like to be abused by very domineering women.
Yes, your sick, weird fetish fantasy. This is gross. Look at. Did you see Frankie's face? Look at Frankie's
So does he
face.
like moan every time you kick him out? He's like, oh.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. He's muted when he gets kicked
I've
out.
got,
I
got
don't
the
have to
shoebox right here.
All right, I'm done. I'm ending the stream. This is wow.
Yep.
Damn.
That sounds about right.
I don't even know what to do with this. Luke. you
Next
say
week's
it.
topic.
I would just like you to say what every woman says about me, that I'm incorrigible.
No.
I was gonna say insufferable, but
Well, yeah, too. But whenever I get both of those, I feel like, wow, this is a true relationship.
Right. That's seems like you're seeking outside validation. Oh, bye.
he can still hear you. We just don't
Oh,
have to
okay,
listen
good.
to him.
Well, yeah, because I have otherness that enjoys the energy of fucking with people, and when they, tell me that I'm fucking with them
Luke,
correctly.
say goodbye.
I like how he's right on beat.
All right, thanks everybody.
Yeah, I was still talking in the back. I never stopped. I just kept going.
Tolerating,
awesome.
you
That
know,
was awesome.
the nonsense that we.
I love that. He was still talking.
Yeah, I was still talking. I was like, oh yeah, and then I just clicked the button, and kept going.
You know, that's how he proves he likes people, right? By continuously probing them.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, thanks for joining us here on Writing Prose. About growth.
He's like a bad alien that never abducts you.
Probing.
I'm like a fungus. I grow on
Left
you.
the rails way.
They're so far back there. Frankie, you want to say goodbye?
What a
We're saying
bunch of
goodbye.
clowns.
Clowns.
Right.
What a bunch of clowns, I said.
I like it. Oh, make sure you go check out Through the Woods, still in demand.
Please.
Oh, that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Oh
Yeah, I mean,
Now,
go check out Sing Along a Doom for Luke.
Yep.
And he's doing cooking now because
Really?
he's that hardcore.
You know what? I had to cook dinner for my grandmother anyway. I figured, fuck it, why not?
Aw.
That's why I started doing the sing along of Doom, because I was going to be out there doing my vocal practice anyway. I figured I might as well torture the internet with it as well. So yeah, come join me. Come scream along with me.
I like it. All right, buddy.
There are many sins in the industry, and if you don't care about any of those, you can go to Indiegogo and purchase Sins of the Fae. Or follow me on Twitter at the Buddy Lord.
Oh my gosh, what plug was this?
That was a fucking good pitch. Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Now,
All right.
for Shae, for my sign off, can I have a palate cleanser that perfectly encapsulates how you feel when you're listening to me and Buddy?
Oh my God.
Can we do that?
I'll admit
Share
I'm
your
morbidly curious.
screen. As long as it doesn't get me struck.
It probably will, but I don't know.
Jesus. Fair warning, I guess.
But it's so old that I doubt it will.
Pen, pineapple, apple pen.
I know you guys are. Oh,
Jesus.
Let's see.
Oh, if Grandpa can figure out how to share screen.
Oh, I can even share
Can
audio.
you
Here
share
we go.
audio? Yeah.
You guys.
I don't know. It took you 3 times last time.
Oh man. This is
Oh my
Shae.
God, in living color.
Legally repressing my buzzitude, I've retracted my gonads with gigantic proportions. And the signing of the prohibition, you see, defecates the fluids of detention between the essence of the Euro intercourse, you see.
AT&T allows you to reach out and touch someone, even when they don't get out much.
Right, exactly. Okay, brother. Okay. See, all you doing right now is flatulating your liquid. Okay? Because I believe it was Homo erectus that said to expose the hemorrhoidal ramification would merely delineate the colonic orifice, thereby separating
Colonic
the
orifice?
gluteus from the maxis.
Okay. Yeah, that's about right.
That is Shae. That is me and Buddy talking to each other.
Yes. Yes. Precisely.
Holy shit.
So, and I'm like, oh, you sure on Metamucil, buddy?
Oh my goodness. You better be taking your Geritol, boy.
Exactly. When you Pepto-Bismolize and you Betty Croculize your Foucault, excuse me, folio, up through your urethra and out through your orifice.
Well, we gotta canonically infatuate your impetudinum.
Exactly, my brother.
What college course was that?
Bullshit 101.
Jive.
Enjoy Black Flag. You'll see it eventually. I'm kind of doing something for it, kind of not. And get over there to In Demand where it is and enjoy the fun.
All right. I'm slowly losing the will to live, so.
Damn.
Yeah, it's been a rough stream. Rough stream. Thank you everyone for coming out. You guys are awesome. We really appreciate you. All of the links for everybody's Twitters that we had on and for the projects that they're on are in the description. So make sure that you go follow everybody on here. Make sure that you go and back all of the projects. Subscribe to Luke, and while you're at it, if you wouldn't mind, please subscribe to Red Valkyrie.
Yeah, get your girl up to 1,000.
We are very, very close.
Do it.
I'm working on
Do it.
some really badass stuff to be able to give away. I got an entire box of comics over here. Working on some art from a couple of really awesome people. So please subscribe, hit that bell, make sure that you're around whenever we're doing any of our stuff, because at this point, who the hell knows when any of it's going to be anymore. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here, and I promise next week will be better, even if I have to kick Will.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much, and we will catch you all next Sunday for Writing Prose. See you later.
Night, everyone.